Good evening, everyone. This week's vlog is in regards to the NCAA and the CFA, and whether or not we feel they appropriated the funds correctly or it was a good use of revenue, and whether the members should be polled in regards to how they're allocating the money. So just to give you a brief background of both the NCAA and the CFA, the NCAA, once it expanded, became a huge target for lawsuits. Between 1971 and 1976, they had a pretty decent track record with winning cases. However, following the 1975 ruling in the Goldfarb versus Virginia State Bar case, a lot of changes came about, especially in regards to the Sherman Act of 1890. The CFA was organized in December of 1976. However, they had a negative connotation because a lot of people assumed that they were only created to increase their TV revenues. Now, going forward a little bit, the CFA challenged the NCAA's TV plan that was implemented. And because of that, a war or a battle became evident between the two. So the CFA had worked out a deal with NBC. Now, NBC was bitter after losing that 12-year contract they had to televise the NCAA basketball tournament to CBS. So they worked out a deal with the CBS. The CFA worked out a deal with the CFA worked out a deal with NBC. And around the same time, the NCAA had worked out a deal with ABC, CBS, and Turner Broadcasting. And so the CFA held an initial vote to see how many people would buy into it, and they didn't get as much feedback or as favorable feedback as they thought they would. So with the initial vote plus the threats that they received from the NCAA, members of the CFA sought legal action. And so the University of Oklahoma and the University of Georgia went to the court system and sought legal action, and a temporary restraining order was granted to them. Now, history does show that the NCAA and the way that they spent their money or their television money caused some tension, and a possible breakup for them was pending. However, if we look at the overall budget or revenue received, the CFA to me was forward thinking by setting aside money to help offset TV legal funds or for the TV legal funds. So I say that it was forward thinking because they knew going into this battle with the NCAA that there would possibly be some legal action that needed to take place. And so by setting aside money, they were able to be prepared if anything happened. The NCAA, on the other side, again, felt that they were untouchable. Most of their revenue 60% of their revenue came from their television contracts. So for them, that was the only money that they had. However, again, history does show that that was one of the reasons, why they were rumored to have a possible breakup, because they did not know how to allocate funds appropriately. So I think that for them, it was a misuse of revenue or of funds. However, for the CFA, I think that it was a really smart plan to set aside a legal fund. Also, the amount of money I feel like that they spent, to me, was outrageous, but I don't really know how much lawsuits cost. And it might have just been a matter of them being prideful and not wanting to lose or back down, instead of really just saying like, you won, or let's find a deal that can work between the two of us. And so I feel like they could have made some different changes to kind of find a different way to solve the issues instead of going to court and spending an astronomical amount of money. Also, do I think the organizations should poll their members? And I say yes, 100%. If you poll your members, then that gives you an opportunity to see who's all on the same page. And if you're not on the same page, then it gives you an opportunity to talk about plans or ways to make what you need happen. So if you don't have a legal fund and you talk about it by polling your members, then you set up a legal fund and you begin to get that process situated and started, so that you have you all are on the same page, and so that you don't cause confusion and tension between your members and member organizations. So I do think that the CFA use the revenues appropriately. I don't think the NCAA did. However, and I do agree that they should poll their members about the appropriateness of spending the funds. And that's just my personal opinion. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day.